some people may get pissed off because I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm not playing.
Very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle.
I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded.
I'm glad that he is locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief.
You gotta worry about us on them motherfucking tapes. Now check this shit out.
Ice Cube has shed light on a deeper conspiracy involving Diddy, claiming that he's being used as a scapegoat to protect someone far more influential. The story raises serious questions. Why is the FBI allegedly using Diddy as an informant? And what critical information did the New York mayor share with him just months before his arrest? Stick around as we uncover the hidden truths behind Hollywood's dark side and Diddy's role in these shocking revelations.
40 years rocking the mic.
You still killing it, goddamn.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, me and Dub C ain't never been to a Diddy party, motherfucker. You ain't gotta worry about us on them motherfucking tapes. Now check this shit out.
I think he's being targeted, or some of the stuff he's got, you know, there's credibility on what they're coming after him with the tapes and the feds and raiding his Miami home, his LA home.
I believe he's being targeted.
You believe he's being targeted?
Yeah, I believe, you know, somebody, you know, has the power to pull the trigger to make, you know, the stuff, just domino effect happen.
Okay. All right. So you think he's being targeted. So you don't think, you know, Shook said, you can say what you want about Diddy, but Diddy didn't learn to like young boys. He learned it from a man named Clive Davis. He threw Clive Davis in there. It doesn't sound like you're part of that camp. You're part of the camp that you think he's being targeted.
You know, I don't know enough to even be able to be specific on any of this stuff. It's just all speculation. I just know he was cool up until a point, and then this stuff started happening. So I believe somebody, you know, like I said, yo, he's our new guy. We on this.
Ice Cube has never shied away from speaking the truth about Hollywood and the music industry's hidden secrets. He's now drawing attention to a disturbing pattern. Powerful figures like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Danny Masterson, and R. Kelly were shielded by industry elites, allowing their abusive behavior to go unchecked. This time, Ice Cube is pulling back the curtain on the music industry, exposing Diddy's alleged connections to a vast network of politicians, actors, producers, and athletes. According to Ice Cube, the time for accountability has come, and everyone involved may soon face the consequences.
Some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, you know, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, you know, I'm an outsider. And so, you know, I'm not part of the club. So I have to go places for one that I'm welcome, and where I can voice my opinion without somebody, you know, saying I'm a bad person and that they never want to have me on their platform again.
What platforms have banned you?
I've been, you know, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. You know, I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but
You'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
You know, it's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that.
While many A-list celebrities partied with Diddy, and some have even defended him after his arrest, Ice Cube is taking a different stance. He's revealed that he never attended Diddy's infamous parties and claims that anyone who says they were there but didn't participate is likely lying. Reports suggest that NDAs are a major reason why people are staying silent, shielding the truth. There's also talk of a select group who knowingly supported Diddy's actions behind the scenes, and they're now doing everything they can to avoid being dragged into the scandal.
It was cracking. You know what it is? It's your homeboy Ice Cube. And some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of the club. That pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what, who? Come on, man, stop playing. So, ever since I put out the contract with Black America, you know they've been fucking with me. Here and there, this and that. But it's cool, you know. I expect that. You know, I've been working with, you know, on the big three for a long time. And you know how they've been fucking with me with that. I done made it, you know, plain, simple, and clear what they've been doing, you know. The NBA been fucking with us. Now, a lot of people might say, like, well, but Cube, you want to work with the NBA. Really, I don't give a fuck about working with the NBA. What I want them to do, when I say work with us, is to stop working against us. Stop doing that bullshit behind the scenes that we know you're doing. Mainstream media, you know, they ain't fucking with us. And that's cool. We can do it ourselves, you know what I'm saying? We still on the rise without these motherfuckers. So we don't need them, you don't need them. You know? So what am I gonna do to deal with these motherfucking gatekeepers? Well, what I'm gonna do is go on a Fuck the Gatekeepers podcast tour. And I'm gonna go talk to everybody, you know, and get a chance to get my message out to the people. Be able to let people hear from me, you know, and you know, you might agree, you might not, but the important thing is, you know, for me to go on these platforms, say what I feel about what I think. And, you know, some people may get pissed off because I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm not playing. And it's gonna be a crazy summer. It's gonna be fun. Appreciate y'all. Always support the big three. Hopefully I'm doing stuff that you guys dig. You know, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for people that's bored as fuck in the summer with summer sports and want something cool like the big three. So here we are. Appreciate you. Much love, much respect from your homeboy Ice Cube.
Diddy's connections ran deep, spanning former presidents, British royalty, and influential figures from both the Democratic and Republican parties. Now, as controversy surrounds him, These powerful allies are staying silent. But is their silence just avoidance, or are they hiding something? Insiders close to Diddy have revealed that he had a habit of collecting leverage on those around him. According to these sources, the quiet response may stem from fear, because Diddy allegedly holds damaging secrets about everyone in his circle.
A lot of these people were also aspiring young artists in the music industry. And then these parties were sponsored by Motown Records CEO, Universal Records CEO. This goes all the way to the top. And so you get these people in compromising situations. The drinks were laced, the videotapes were hot. And then at the end of the day, you wake up the next morning, what did I do? And then they have compromising material on you. And then they can guide your career. They could kill your career, but they got you. And it wasn't just people in the music business. As you said, there were athletes, there were celebrities, there were politicians, people from the royal family. And we were also told by the former bodyguard that Diddy was an FBI informant. Whoa. So he was a snitch and was feeding information to the feds. And we don't know what that means. We haven't been able to confirm it, but even Little Rod said it's not just like Epstein, it could be worse.
Diddy's downfall began in November 2023, when Cassie filed a lawsuit against him, sparking a wave of accusations. Her case, the first of 36 lawsuits now filed against Diddy, details a decade-long relationship marked by violence and control. Cassie, who was just 19 when their relationship began and Diddy was 37, accused him of subjecting her to daily abuse, including physical violence and coerced sexual acts, often fueled by drug use. Although her lawsuit has since been settled, it opened the floodgates for others to come forward.
She thought she was actually working on an album. That was ultimately a giant pacifier to keep her happy while Diddy was actually using her for other things, right? For the freak-offs that we're talking about. The album never had a release date. It was never really going to come out. He was just using her for that purpose. So that's part of where you get into racketeering, that there's all these people that he's using in a business context to have her at his beck and call in this other nighttime context. And it's really disgusting, and he really robs her of her spirit and her time that she could have used to become a great artist. And when Kim Porter passes away, and this is from a story that I'm working on for the Substack, it'll come out later this week. When Kim Porter passes, Diddy is so distracted and devastated that Cassie's able to get away from him. She gets pregnant and she gets married, and then she's in a supportive environment. Her parents are around her, her husband, she has friends around her. She goes to rehab, and there she finds her voice to be able to speak up for the person she used to be, right? When she was under his control, because she's not that person anymore. And when she gets to that place in her life, she starts to speak up, because there's so many people who wanted to speak out against him and were afraid. And when she finds the courage to speak up about her truth, then others are able to come forward, and then it all falls apart for him.
You know, racketeering implies that there are more than one person involved, though. Is there, and that is the question a lot of people are asking, is who else is involved in this?
There are other people within Diddy's operation who we can point to as playing a major role as far as security, as far as procuring things, as far as getting people into his orbit. I would imagine that many of those people are currently talking to federal law enforcement, trying to save themselves from going to prison. Others are sitting there nervous. Not everyone is talking, but surely some of them are. So, I mean, there's a lot of people lining up to tell the story, but I think a lot of the evidence is going to come from what Sean himself videotaped, right? That's going to be the thing. People think that's the thing that will get him out. No, he's not going to be able to say, this famous person came to my party and did something bad. Let's knock a year off. No, that's not how it goes.
No.
Right? He's not going to be able to snitch his way out.
As the investigation into Diddy intensifies, shocking evidence is beginning to emerge. Reports claim that 8 tapes from his infamous parties, allegedly showing A-list celebrities engaged in inappropriate acts with minors, have been handed over to Homeland Security. But why is Homeland Security involved? The answer points to the sheer scale and influence of those implicated in this controversy, suggesting that it reaches far beyond the music and entertainment industry.
Statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appear to
Let
be.
me rephrase it.
Based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appeared to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all. To be honest, all.
Were victims or were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were all 8 were victimized.
Yeah.
Meaning this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
As more victims come forward with evidence, including videotapes, showing that Diddy abused them, questions are rising about how he was allowed to continue working in the industry despite widespread knowledge of his actions. Were people simply unaware, or were they complicit in covering up the abuse? One of Diddy's alleged victims, Thalia Graves, filed a federal lawsuit on September 24, 2024, against Diddy and his former bodyguard, Joseph Sherman. In her case, Graves claims that in 2001, at the Bad Boy Records studio in New York City, she was drugged and sexually assaulted by both men.
The latest woman to speak out against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is from Harris County.
Yeah, our Reka Mudaraj is here with more on the lawsuit that was filed yesterday. Reka?
Len and Mia, these are the latest accusations against Sean Combs, and it comes about a week after Combs was indicted on federal charges alleging he used his business empire as a criminal enterprise. Now, yesterday, high-powered attorney Gloria Allred appeared with her client. This is Thalia Graves, a Harris County resident who filed a lawsuit against Combs in New York. We are using her name because she has gone public with her claims. Now, in the lawsuit, Graves alleges back in 2001, when she was 25 years old, Combs and his head of security lured her into a meeting at a New York City recording studio where they gave her a drink that caused her to briefly lose consciousness. When she woke up, Graves says she was bound and restrained and was violently raped by Combs. The lawsuit filed Tuesday also claims the alleged assault was recorded and that the video was shown to multiple other men. Graves says she also faced multiple threats that made her stay silent for decades.
The violation I have experienced during the assault has had lasting effects on my body, causing ongoing health problems and complications. The combination of physical and emotional pain has created a cycle of suffering from which it is so hard to break free. I want to continue on this journey towards recovery and healing. I'm glad that he is locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief.
54-year-old Combs is in jail facing federal charges including sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He was denied bail twice after pleading.
Other individuals have also stepped forward with alarming claims. One of the latest is Precious Muir, a former Playboy bunny who alleges she witnessed celebrities bringing their children to Diddy where they were allegedly abused. Muir claims that in order to advance their careers, people felt they needed to offer a sacrifice to Diddy. According to her, the children at Diddy's parties were subjected to horrific abuse right in front of their parents, yet no one ever spoke out.
But you do fear him because you're like, you don't know what his next move is going to be. You don't know what he's going to respond or what he's going to say. And he is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, you know, it is scary because you think you know, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your career. You know, if you say the wrong thing or you complain or you know, I don't know, there's an element where you're just, I guess manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say a bad thing. Or, you know, when they're constantly asking you, would you like to do drugs? And you're like, well, I don't do drugs. And they're like, well, why don't you do drugs? And so like, it's a form of manipulation, and you are afraid as a new talent because you don't want to piss them off. There's so many elements to it. So you are scared. There is an element of fear, you know, and I never spoke up, you know, during that period of time because I feared for my life. Like, I was alone in New York. I had no family there. If I said the wrong thing, what could happen to me? I'm in a foreign country. It does take a group of people to come together and use their voice, but then others to feel comfortable to say the right thing as well. It does take.
Attorney Ariel Mitchell has made headlines for her involvement in a case tied to tapes allegedly found at Diddy's residence. These tapes, she claims, feature A-list celebrities engaging in intimate acts at Diddy's parties. During a media appearance, Mitchell revealed that she had been made aware of these tapes' existence and was even offered the chance to purchase one. She has also been representing an A-list celebrity connected to the tapes, further fueling the controversy surrounding Diddy.
Is your client fearful if Diddy does get out?
As you know, I represent other clients, actual victims who have sued Mr. Combs, Diddy, in civil court, and all of them are very apprehensive about their safety if he were to be granted bond. I am confident in the court. I am sure that the court will remain with their previous decision of no bond. I feel like the judge only gave this let me think about it just to not make it as obvious. But I have all the confidence in the world and the federal court and the state of New York that they will remain keeping Diddy under no bond, and that all of the victims in this case will be able to proceed sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and you mentioned, I mean, you don't just represent this man, you represent other alleged victims too and people involved. Have there been any threats made against any of your clients?
There have been threats from people on the internet, but not from, at least what we don't know, from Diddy to be directly. So my clients have, Mr. Burgess has received several death threats. My client, Mrs. Parham, has been receiving threats, but we don't know if they're just regular people from the internet or if they're actually people who were sent by Diddy.
Do you have any idea where the threats are coming from? I mean, have you done any investigation?
Well, most of the investigation leads us to a lot of burner accounts on Instagram, and we're trying to now sift through possibly working with law enforcement to try to get subpoenas to determine the IP addresses of where those threats were emanating.
So, okay, interesting. We know that the cease and desist letter has now come. Has there been any other pressure of any kind that you or your clients have felt to stop talking?
In general, I feel that the gag order, when we talk about that, Mark Agnifilio wrote about me specifically, and also all of the other plaintiffs in the civil lawsuits to try to have all of us gagged. There's pressure every day that us continuing to talk about this is putting not only our lives in jeopardy, but could be potentially used against us.
Jan Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has spoken out about how Diddy allegedly had leverage over every powerful person he interacted with, including the mayor of New York. It raises a troubling question. Is it just a coincidence that Diddy was given the key to the city only 1 month before his arrest? One thing is clear, there's much more to this story than what we see on the surface.
The judge was going to allow him to be bonded out on the first get-go. Now, if he comes up with some more hearings, he might be released. But based on the evidence, they've been following him, bro. They've been tapping his phone, been having people watch him. You understand? He been coming back and forth from New York, and he'll usually be coming back to New York. And somebody was telling me that, yo, listen here, yo, he trying to get witnesses. Remember when they released that first thing of Cassie, and I said that Diddy was trying to contact people for character witnesses, people for who he had problems with before, whatever like that, and trying to talk to them in the whole 9 yards. That's when they dropped that thing with Cassie. The Homeland Security had some agency or whatever like that that deals with that, dropped that thing on Cassie to show everybody, oh, y'all want to help him? Y'all, this is what y'all want to help? This is who y'all want to, say that he ain't never did nothing. This is what you want to put your brand on? And everybody started backing up from him. Everybody was talking about, yo, man, Cassie was a gold digger. Cassie was this, that, and the third. She loved it in the whole 9 yards. And then when they seen that, all his friends or so-called friends, went away. So him not having a bond is not surprising.
Yeah, and he offered them $50 million, and they still denied his bond.
He should have waited to see what they was going to offer. Because
Diddy's recent legal troubles are not just about his personal actions. They highlight a larger culture of control and secrecy that has existed in the music industry for years. For decades, figures like Diddy have operated behind the scenes, their true tactics obscured by the glitz and glamour of success. But as more people come forward with stories of abuse, exploitation, and corruption, the image of the untouchable mogul is beginning to fade. This is where the lines between fact, conspiracy, and the darker side of hip-hop's powerful figures start to blur.
And lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs did not give up their fight to get him free on bail. They plan to file paperwork with the Second Court of Appeals to overturn yesterday's ruling, which sent the music mogul back to the Brooklyn lockup where he will remain until his next court hearing.
So in the meantime, the hip-hop community is reacting to Diddy's downfall.
You're speechless.
I'm very speechless.
You're speechless.
Because, I'm just sad. I'm sad that he is someone that I deeply respected. I'm saddened that his choices have impacted not only the people that loved him, but his legacy for the culture.
So this morning, we are joined by the co-host of the Trigger Warning podcast, hip-hop journalist and music industry insider, Kim Osorio. So good morning, Kim. Thanks for taking the time.
Good morning.
It is amazing what a difference a year makes, right? Last September, Diddy was on the MTV Music Awards being recognized as a global icon. Now look at him. He's facing some serious allegations, possible a lifetime in prison. Can you imagine that it would even come to this?
I don't think anyone imagined that. I mean, you said last year he was receiving that award. He got the key to the city here in New York. A year later, here we are. He's arrested in federal, no bail.
Yeah, Kim, you're a hip hop journalist, right? You've been around Diddy. You've kind of followed his career. You watched as he built his empire. So, what did you see in those moments, right? And just kind of covering him overall. Were there these rumbles and rumors of a temper and of these freak-off parties as your kind of covering him went on?
I have to admit, I never heard of the freak-off parties until this indictment. We hear a lot of things in hip-hop. We hear rumors of violence, and we see things. It breaks in the news. We're following things closely. But ultimately, for us in the hip-hop community, we looked up to Diddy. He was an icon. He had a legacy. He created, so much great music and content and, apparel that I think this is a big stain on our culture right now to find out these things. A lot of people are really shocked, even though they may have been aware of some incidents.
With the temper.
The temper, right. A lot of people are shocked. They were shocked when the Cassie video came out. Yeah, there were a lot of people and a lot of men within the hip hop community that didn't really want to accept the fact that she was out there filing this lawsuit saying these things about him and that he had done these things to her.
As more victims speak out and the pressure builds on those who helped enable these terrible crimes, it's becoming clear that this is only the beginning. The question remains, will the arrests of powerful figures like Diddy lead to justice for the survivors? Or are there even darker secrets yet to be uncovered? Only time will tell.